George Sanders, Goldcliff Resource, back with you again for part 3 of our discussion of our business model and our portfolio. In the last segment, we discussed the rationale for multiple asset portfolio. So now I'm just going to run down some of those assets and explain how we see them fitting and into the business model, and hopefully I can do that quickly. The first one I'll talk about is Panorama Ridge. Panorama Ridge has been in the company since 2000 and actually predates the application of this business model. However, our look at it today, we're applying that business model. So quick summary, it's in the Headley Gold District. It's 4 kilometers away from the Mascot Gold nickel plate open pit mine, which produced 1 million ounces. That mine was built on top of, lower down in the mountain, another 1.5 million ounces that was produced historically. So it's one of British Columbia's bigger gold producing regions, having successfully recovered 2.5 million ounces of gold. It's similar geology, great location, great access. Our work in the early 2000s outlined a small deposit. It's not big enough as a standalone, so we're looking for others. We're also looking at maybe some other unique ways that we can advance this to get it to cash flow. Those include the kind of off-the-wall, not really conventional investigation of heap leaching of sulfide ore. We're investigating that. We're also applying our exploration strategy to identifying multiple satellites or multiple smaller deposits that collectively can get over the critical mass. And we are thinking also about zones of higher grade that can stand direct shipping. So that's some of the ways that we're taking a legacy asset and applying our new business model to that asset. Ainsworth, we've already talked about. We're very excited about that. The historic high grade. If we can find a little bit more of that and kind of prove it up, then we may have a direct shipping story that we can go to work on and try and get permitted and make happen. So that's very exciting for us. We have 2 projects in the U.S., Nevada Rand and Aurora West, and they are northeast and southwest by about 25-30 miles of the town of Hawthorne, so they're not too far distant from each other. Importantly, there is a permitted, recently operated gold mill owned by Hecla Mining Corporation on their Aurora holdings. So we were in Nevada Rand first. It's an old high-grade thing, sort of like Ainsworth. We're hoping to find some more of those shoots of high grade. And the view was, and the reason that clinched the deal for us, is we knew that it was in a haulable or economically haulable distance from the mill at Aurora. Then we went into the Aurora district. I might do a separate video on that because it's a strategic holding as much as a bootstrap holding. But talk about perfectly located for bootstrap. We're tied right on to the Hecla land position. The best showing on our Aurora property is within a couple hundred meters of Hecla's mill. So it really is tailor-made for a phased kind of thing or bootstrapping, and we're still very high on that project. And then finally Kettle Valley, and it's more of a conventional exploration exposure. The fact that it's newly recognized geologic occurrence in a place where that wasn't thought to have existed, that was really encouraging to us. But again, the deal clincher was, should there be elevated grade anywhere on that property, we're within haulage distance of the Kinross mill at Republic, Washington. So that puts a perspective on the Kettle Valley project again, that there's a possibility if we're lucky enough to actually locate a deposit, and if that's high enough grade, that we could look at it through the lens of, well, would this make direct shipping, and how would we go about making that work? So that's a very short, quick summary of how all 5 assets in the current portfolio fit into the phased production business model. And stay tuned for part 4, where we'll talk about how we wrap this all up and what is the end game, what is the exit strategy.